there, this is Corjax. I'm a level designer for Mechwarrior Living Legends, and this is going to be a video on the basics of how to play the Mechwarrior Living Legends beta. I'll skip the lengthy introduction and just jump right in. If you want to know more about the game, please visit us at www.mechlivinglegends.net. First thing is first, spawning. You can choose between the clans or the inner sphere. At the moment, there's no differences between the two sides other than where they spawn on the levels. Next, you want to choose your spawn point. The mech symbol indicates a mech-based spawn point where you can purchase vehicles and mechs. The plane symbol indicates an aerospace spawn where you can purchase aerospace and VTOL craft. Alright, we've spawned at the mech hangar. You start out as a battle armor. Let me explain how Solaris Arena works before we continue. Solaris Arena is a team deathmatch style game mode. However, much like Crysis's Power Struggle game mode, you gain credits, or C-bills, as you deal damage, kill opponents, or otherwise support your team. Time to open the buy menu. You can do so by pressing comma. As you can see, there are vehicles and mechs I cannot afford yet. These will require a higher ranking in the match, which means I spawn with more C-bills before I can use them. There are 4 categories: weapons for your battle armor, ammo for your vehicle you are in, mechs you can purchase, and vehicles you can purchase. At the moment in the beta, you can only choose between variants, but a full customization suite will be put in later. I'm going to start by purchasing an Omens Prime. The Omens is a light scouting mech, classed at 35 tons. While it's a nimble and fast mech, its armor and weaponry are not too good. Higher tonnage class mechs offer more armor and weaponry, but are much less mobile and fast. Alright, looks like my Owens is ready in mech bay number 2. An icon will highlight the location of your mech. To enter a mech, jump jet up to its cockpit by holding down spacebar, then press F key. Alright, now we are started up and ready to go. Let me explain the HUD a little bit. The bottom circles represent your radar, your minimap, and also hold a lot of information in regards to the status of your mech. This includes your heat levels, your speed, the radar mode you are running in, if you are in range of a missile homing beacon, and any other radar suites you might have installed. To the right, you have your mech health. The mechs are separated in components: head, torso, arms, and legs. If enough damage is done to a component, you'll eventually lose it. In the case of arms, you might lose a weapon. If you lose your legs, your mech will topple over and be unable to move. Lose the center torso, and you die. It's important to take into consideration that the armor levels are not the same for all the components. Arms and legs are considerably weaker than the torso units. The back armor of a mech is worth noting as well. They usually have weak armor. Destroying the back armor of a mech will cripple its engine to run at half speed, and will also deal triple damage to the center torso when shot at. Finally, we have the weapons display. The weapons display is pretty self-explanatory. All weapons have ranges in which they are effective, and ammo-based weapons have their ammo counts to the far right. Once you run out of ammo for a weapon, the mech will automatically rearm itself if you have loaded extra tons of ammo. If you do not have ammo available, you'll have to rearm at the mech hangar before you can use that weapon again. The ammo box below the weapons list shows the available extra ammo you have. Note that energy weapons do not use ammo, but they generate a high amount of heat. Okay, now that that is over with, here's how to control the mech. WSAD affects the throttle and the direction of your mech. Your mouse affects the torso twist and where your mech looks. Think of it as controlling a turret on a tank in a traditional FPS. Here's how to fire. All weapons within weapon grouping 1 in your weapons list are fired by default from mouse number 1 or left clicking. All weapons in group 2 are fired from mouse 2 or right clicking, and weapon group 3, usually missiles, are fired from the middle mouse button. You can alternatively use the numbers on your keyboard number line to fire from their respective weapon groups. Alright, right here I just enable chain fire by pressing the / key. This makes it so when you fire a weapon group, it will shoot the weapons one at a time instead of all at once. Now would be a good time for me to buy ammo for my mech. However, since this Owens variant is already maxed out on its tonnage, I don't have any room for any more ammo. Alright, let's get to some action. One thing you might notice is the center reticle occasionally lights up. These correspond to your weapon groups. If the number 1 light on your center reticle lights up, for example, that means weapon group 1 is in range and ready to fire. The same applies to all the other weapon groups. Something you might consider is running under passive radar. To toggle between passive radar and active radar, press the R key. Passive radar reduces your radar detection range at the cost of your own radar being reduced as well. Note though that mechs who are carrying advanced radar equipment can detect you further out. Alright, I've noticed a red star show up on my radar. That indicates an enemy mech. Pressing E will target the closest enemy. You can cycle through all enemy targets by pressing T. If you have an enemy in your sights you want to target, press Q. LRMs are capable of locking onto targets from large distances. They don't do a whole lot of damage at the lower end, but are great fire and forget support weaponry. Locking on is simple. Just keep your mouse over any target in the field till the red lock-on symbol comes on. Then fire your missiles. Keep in mind that you can only lock on if you are in active radar mode. Also, any missiles that are not locked onto a target are capable of following friendly homing beacons such as Narc or Tag Laser. Notice what happened here. I got a missile lock and fired, but the missiles went right over the target's head. This is because LRMs have a minimum range of 300 meters. It won't be able to hit anything within this range. Right here, my right leg is damaged. This means my mech will limp and suffer a large penalty to speed. Oh, lost my leg and now I'm toppling over. And dead.